This episode, we're going through one of the first things I think everyone should do to their four-wheel drive, especially if you do care about your paint. If you're someone like me that loves to go off-road, particularly where it's typically overgrown or an environment that may cause damage to your paint, then you're going to want to watch this episode. So let's get into it. All right, good morning. So I finally finished the GU. Now the wiring's all done. I can actually crack back into the Hilux, which I've got out here. And today we're going to be doing something that I probably should have done first, is Bushwrapz. I'm going to show you why this is like the number one thing I think you should do on every single car. And PPF can be really expensive when you get it professionally installed. So having access to DIY PPF and making it more affordable is just, you can't beat it. So this tub actually already has PPF on it. It's a secondhand tub and it's done about 200,000 Ks in about 3 years. So it's definitely got a few scratches on it. So let's pull it off and see how well it actually protected the paint that's underneath it. Now removing the PPF is pretty simple. You literally just need to apply some kind of heat, whether you use a heat gun or if you do it like I am, simply boil the kettle and pour some hot water on it and it should peel off easily enough. This is the old PPF. You can actually see, I'll have to try and get them angled, the scratches on the PPF. I'm not gonna lie, it's actually worked pretty well. Like I said, there's one main scratch here that's gone through, but honestly I reckon that would buff out. But otherwise, in comparison to how it looked before to how it looks now, I definitely want to say it's done its job. Now, one thing is, I don't know if you can see here, there's a bit of sticky residue, and this is why I re-boiled the jug, because you'll find if it's not hot enough, it's gonna leave some sticky residue, but it's fine because we're gonna get the clay bar, we're gonna go through and wash the whole vehicle, clay bar it, and get it ready to install the brand new stuff. Just clay barred the entire car. It took a little bit, but now she's looking pretty good. What I'm gonna show you now is we do actually have a few scratches. Josh was actually driving this one. Josh, actually, you've done all the damage to the car. Before it was even registered, he was driving out of the shed, hit the bumper. Next, he was driving down the back in the bush, stick flicked up and hit the door. And the latest one, he was driving it and he hit a root. So,
Yeah, my bad.
Thanks, Josh. Hopefully, the Bushwrapz is gonna cover it. Wraps on. This is on the passenger door, so we're gonna whack it on and see if it covers up that. If you look here, a stone chip on the driver's rear door, so it'd be interesting to see if that covers up at all. 12,000 Ks, and it's just stone chips galore, like here, all the way along the sill. We're gonna actually try to wrap that. We've got some leftover PPF, like extra, that I might try and cut out and do this. So if you're wondering what even is PPF, so paint protection film, or PPF, is a clear, durable film applied to a vehicle's paint to protect it from scratches and debris. PPF is a physical barrier. It actually absorbs impact, so things like rock chips and scratches don't actually reach the paint. And it also has a self-healing technology. So small scratches on PPF disappear with a little warmth from the sun, keeping your vehicle looking brand new. It's pretty cool, huh? So if you're someone who loves going out on the tracks, PPF is the ultimate way to protect your paint. It's tougher, more impact resistant, and ready for whatever the road or off-road throws at you. I've got a bit of a conundrum with, like I said before, I rebadged the Hilux, so we're gonna have to cut our own template around the badges, but in the front guard, I forgot to tell them that I have a GVM upgrade, therefore will have bigger indicators. So I'll probably have to make another template from that. And I just kind of had the thought of the fact that I haven't got a snorkel yet, so I might order one and not do the driver's side guard, because what's the point of putting it on if I'm just going to cut into it to put a snorkel and ruin the wrap. So we might do the rest of the car but leave the driver's side guard so I can get the snorkel fitted, which should only be in a week or two anyway, so it's not that bad. But anyway, I just wanted to show the fact that this kit actually comes with these additional little pieces, because that was the only downside I found to DIY kits, is what a lot of the kits only did just certain panels, and they didn't cover all these like little pieces, which obviously matter. So handy. We're going to get on to installing these bad boys. And also, so far between doing everything, the tub has been the absolute hardest. It's got the most like contouring and botting lines in it, so it's been quite tricky, and we may have a few bubbles in that one. So fingers crossed they come out when they're in the sun. The only mistake I actually made, this is my fault. So it's a separate piece from here up, and then obviously the door. And this was the first time I did this, and I I don't know why I thought it was a good idea, but I kind of like sat them against each other rather than like leaving a mil gap. So if you look, so there's a bit of moisture still in there, so maybe that might evaporate out, but otherwise you're probably going to see this because they're overlapped, and obviously that's going to make it show. So that's annoying, but it's only this little piece, so I could just remove it, get a new piece of that, and just replace it if it worries me that much. But we'll see how it looks in a couple days. But otherwise, it's pretty much done. I just got to show you guys the finished result in the morning because we're going to get these doors on and these guards and go to bed. So I made it to Queensland and I'm down here at one of the Bushwrapz installers because we're going to go over the job that I did with the DIY kit. To be honest, it's not too bad. The boys didn't say it's the worst they've seen, so it must be alright. But we've got a couple issues we're going to fix up, which are these top panels on each side actually overlapped it down the bottom here, and I said I was going to let it sit and see how it come out. I'm not happy with it, so we are going to pull it off and replace it. I also probably didn't go hard enough with the heat gun on this area here. I'll insert some videos so you can see what it looks like close up. But essentially, when I put the pressure washer or something on it, it's lifted it, and now we're getting some dirt in there, so it's not going to stick back down. So we're going to peel these panels off. But the main reason I brought it in here today is because I wanted the bonnet done. So you can't actually get a DIY bonnet piece in the DIY kit. So you can sort of just do the sides of the car. There's a few reasons being is it's just difficult to make a DIY kit for the bonnet. So essentially, if you want to get it done, you have to get it done at one of the Bushwrapz installers like I am. And essentially, we're actually getting their 10-year pro film. So what I have on the sides of the car is their advanced kit, which I'm pretty sure is 5 years. And then on the bonnet's going to be the 10 years, which I will show you. We'll go through and film it a little bit so you guys can see that the differences between the DIY and what's actually going to be going down the bonnet. So anyway, I'll stop rambling and I'll get into showing you what the process is for that.
Broad, breathless, body, diamond, bones, wanna be it, wanna feel it.
Here to show you where Bree went wrong. It looks like this edge is actually lifted on her. The importance of heating your edges is so important. The biggest thing you want to do is go around the edges of your film, making sure there's no moisture or lifting. And yeah, so I'm going to show you guys a couple tricks that we use as professionals to remove any old PPF.
Big one is heat. This is for the faint of heart. If you do this too much, you can, damage your paint. You don't want to do that.
So when I originally removed my PPF off like the tub here, I just used boiling water, which worked well. Is that recommended?
Yeah,
Is the reason you're not doing it here is just because you don't want to affect the panel that's below it?
honestly, it's just because I didn't want to heat up the kettle.
So as simple as that, we've literally removed that panel off. It's not pulled any paint and it looks great. And we've got the new one here that we can whack on. So I stuffed up the other side because I butted them. You've just done it. It's just a technique to it and I'm just not great at it.
No, you're right.
But you guys can get it pretty, you can barely notice that line. How good. And that's how the professionals do it.
Nice and easy.
It's been a few weeks. I'm back home. Excuse the wind. It's so hot here today. So I have the fan on me because it's like nearly 40 degrees and in the shed it's hot. Anyway, besides the point, let's get into what I need to talk about. It's actually been a few weeks since I put the DIY Bushwrapz kit on the Hilux. And the reason I've waited a little while to show you guys the results and finish this episode is because I actually wanted to run it for a few weeks. One, to see how it held up, how it went when I put the gurney over it, and I've washed it a few times, and just make sure that the product's doing what they said it was going to do. So we'll go for a quick walk around. We're going to have a look at the panels that I've replaced, as you saw earlier in the episode. Some of the panels lifted from the gurney, but I'm going to take the blame from that, not going hard enough with the heat gun, as I explained earlier. Prep is really key when it comes to installing DIY kits. and installing them correctly to get the longevity out of them. At the end of the day, this company is obviously trying to make a product that works, but being a DIY kit, it does also come back onto you and the effort you go when it comes to the install, how well it's actually going to work for you. So now that I've fixed up a few of the errors that I made during the install, I've obviously had it on for a few weeks, I've been out on a few trips, I've washed it a few times, so let's look up close and see how it's actually held up. And let's look at the pre-existing damage the vehicle also had on it to see if the PPF actually covered it. This passenger front door is actually something that had damage on it. It was in this area here, and if I'm honest, I can't even point out where it was because the PPF has worked and it has covered up that small scratch that was there. I can't, I know it was in this area, and I can't even point it out. Like, I can't point it out because it's literally disappeared. There were a few other spots, so let's go check them out too. As I also said, the driver's rear door had a few stone chips. Now, the stone chip that's there, you can still see that, but that stone chip, like, it took all the paint away. So obviously it's not gonna cover up where there's missing paint. So that's to be expected, but the other side where it was just a scratch that didn't take the paint away, it has covered that up. But it obviously is now at least covering the area with the PPF where the stone chips were happening, so we're preventing any more. And this is why I say it's so important to do this first, because had I done this as soon as I got the vehicle, these wouldn't exist. Okay, and now these are the panels that we fixed. Can you even see it? Can you even see the line? Obviously there's been no lifting at all where I got the lifting before. You can barely see the line, maybe not on camera, but like my naked eye can just see it. It's not magic, but it's hardly visible. So obviously you can butt it up, you just kind of got to do it properly, and obviously I never did that initially. I probably overlapped it a little bit, hence why it was visible before. But that panel is now perfect since we've redone it, and I've walked around this entire vehicle and there isn't a single bit that has started to lift. We only got them originally there, and like I said, I probably just didn't go hard enough there with a heat gun. I probably got a bit lazy after doing the whole car. But there is not a single bit of the DIY kit that has started to lift or any issues whatsoever. And I've been at Bush, there is not a single scratch on that car, so it seems like I definitely would have been through some lantana and some sticks and some bushes that would have created scratches, but this car does live out in the sun during the day, so obviously that heat and the self-healing properties is doing the job, because I can't even see any scratches on the PPF. It's obviously healing itself, which is what we want. It's the reason you put it on the car, to protect the paint and keep it looking good. So that is the end of this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned some things about PPF that you may have not known. And this kit does retail, not including the bonnet, for around $1,300 plus postage. To me, you could put a scratch on your door, and to repaint or get a panel beater to fix it could cost more than $1,300. So weigh it up however you like. You can argue it all you want, but to me, my personal opinion, $1,300 to wrap your whole car, to protect the resale value, protect it while you're out in the bush, and just have a bit of peace of mind, it's kind of a bargain. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, whether you agree with it or not. And I'll see you guys on the next episode, where we're going to be introducing the 300 series. Get excited.